All right. So here we are. I'm going to start a few days earlier this week just because I want to start into this week. This was the day of Hurricane Helene coming into Florida and devastating six states, all north of there. I believe it was one of the geoengineering storms. I like what Dane Wigington had to say about that. I think it's geoengineering watch.org, I believe what it is, something like that. Um, anyway, here's the day of the storm, Thursday, and we can see the sun approaching the south node. So south node is, where we need to release physical things, physical attachments, seek a more spiritual side. And this is when we have this hurricane bearing down and it just goes over the node. Fridays when most of that stuff started to really happen, and then starting to understand the aftermath. Saturday, even more, right on it. And, now we're just seeing the devastation. But, sun on South Node. I'm not saying, I mean, this is just one place in one isolated event in the world. Not everything goes to catastrophic level. Not everybody was impacted, of course, but we're looking at astrology and we're seeing the sun on the south node in Libra, but we're also seeing a very, what do I want to say, outcry, outreach of humanitarianism, Libra. Who knows how this will change things? And then there's Mercury there. It just went into Libra as well. Um, and then here we talked about this last week as it was about to cross the sun in the communicative sign, in the balancing sign, in more aesthetic side of Libra there. So here we go. Just so you can just see here that now Mercury is over that south node, and this was Sunday. Speaking things, maybe, and then for everyone else, you've got the sun, like your identity. Maybe it's a good time to purge, get rid of grudges, get rid of things that bind you, things that you've held on to about somebody. It would be better to seek a neutral position so you don't care. No, it's like, no, I don't care one way or another. Then that charge has been neutralized. That's the power of this time. Sun and Mercury over to South Node. All right, so that's all going on now. That's still going on. Okay, so now we come over here to today, and we see we got the Sun and Mercury, just kind of riding there because in that in that period in that area, and we got the Moon just about ready to leave Virgo and go into the group here. Let's get it in the group a little bit, a few hour, about an hour from now, but let's do it. There it is. Okay, just kind of see the whole lineup. We got a stellium. It's just fun when they happen, right? When you can actually see them. We have this whole group working as a unit. Sun, Moon, Mercury, and it's right there on the South Node. What a spiritual, loving, giving, relationship oriented, thinking about others. This, I think on a large level, we have just the closest to World War III, nuclear war. We have just bombings going on right now. Um, we really have to think peace. We really have to think communicate peace. We really have to, as people, not stand for this. This is somebody else's conflict. And then we need to get out of this whole situation. So maybe this is a little, I'm not suggesting that it's going to end this all, but we need to resonate this. I mean, it could, there's always possibilities of these types of things, but we got to just keep sounding the peace drums, the, you know, the tribal rhythmic beat of peace. And maybe this grouping here, the stellium that we're coming into with this new moon, as the moon gets closer, on Wednesday, we come into the new moon in Libra. time of something, this is where we start new things. This is maybe where we, inside of each of us, create our own peace treaties. Not be so, let the differences not be so poignant and sharp. Let them be like, oh yeah, whatever. How come sometimes you can do that with, it'd be interesting as, we all kind of as the collective see where you can look over and past something ridiculous or horrible, and then where you can't. And maybe analyze that within yourself, because that's kind of what this whole next week, next month, next little bit of time of the year, this next 6 months, this whole debacle that we're coming into, as we're coming into the train wreck of the end of this month and the beginning of next. So hopefully we can gain some other higher perspective. Another thing that we're coming into right now is this really nice grand water trine. So we have here Venus in like right at the 10 degrees part of Scorpio water sign, starting to come into a trine here with Saturn at 14 Pisces. And then as it gets on and she gets on into the sign, then she'll before she leaves it, she'll trine Neptune. But we'll talk about this one. And then over to Mars at 15 degrees Cancer. So this is the redeeming part for Mars, for our energy. It's like, yes, you will get rewarded for it's like Mars, wants to be action and off, creating and finding new land and and on to the next and having energy for something and being driven and being focused on that. But when it's in Cancer, it's like mom says, go put all that energy into cleaning your room, at home, putting it in order. It's like, that's not what I want to do. I want to go to football practice. I want to go swimming. I want to get active on something. So if you could just get your head around that and love it all, love it all. Love it's like, yes, I get to put that energy. I love my room, I get to put that into that. So Mars is putting the energy into your home, into your family, and then wherever Cancer is in your chart is where that is going to be more activated. So look for all those water signs where they are, and you can see kind of what houses and what energy that's pulling in for you if you have any other planets there. So Venus again will be kind of, getting closer, as she passes uh Saturn, which Mars just did. Mars just, that was this last several days. Maybe we've had more energy, focused energy, responsible energy to do stuff, carry the task on there. So those two will then, as they go forward in their orbit, they will keep making sort of that trine. They'll come out of the one with Saturn, and then they will start approach the one with Neptune. Does that make sense? I hope, because this is going to be going more in this degrees. So it'll go, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It'll be exactly, but that has an orb of influence, which it's in now. And then they'll still have a little effect afterwards. And then it'll start to pick up the new orb going into, as it gets closer to the end of the sign. And then the same with Mars down here, 15 degrees, and then it'll kind of wobble around there. But Mars is going to be there. It's got a retrograde. And then it will have this dance with Saturn here for a while. Actually, at the end of March, a year ago, March 30th, 23, our first trine with Mars and Saturn was at 2 degrees Cancer. So it was there, and then now we have it at 14 degrees, so it's going to be very close. And then there will be the retrograde one in February 9th, Mars. It'll have that same trine to Mars trine Saturn. It'll be at 18 degrees Cancer. And then in April 5th, this is next year, 2025, it will go on the forward one more time, and it'll be 24 Cancer. So Mars is having this little dance here with Cancer, with Saturn. So energy to discipline, but they're in the water signs. It's in the water signs. So Mars has to be contained. This is like, we look at planetary energies. How do we read this stuff? It's like, well, kind of, because we know we can go both ways. We know that Saturn is dissolving in Pisces. So that is unstructuring, right? It's kind of unstructuring. So maybe it's helping Mars not be so single-minded, so focused on this, like its goal. Maybe it's like, it's not always like that. And then Mars, um, at home, I mean, protecting its home and having energy for home and family is, is maybe bringing discipline into that, is bringing, um, focus, is bringing, maybe dissolving uh, old grudges, old barriers, old, structures that aren't valid anymore, that don't, that it's like, this was a long time ago. You don't need to keep putting energy onto this. This is stupid. Let it go, or just let it dissolve. This, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So both ways. So that's going to be on for the next almost, next 6 months. Actually, until April, till almost my birthday. Anyway. All right, so that's a big thing. This is big. A lot of times we don't have a lot, but these are big. This is a trine, a grand trine. Venus and Mars, the lovers, the push pull, then, and they're having that dance. And then Mars with Saturn, right? Mars with Saturn, and then Venus, a brief one because she's moving out of, quicker. But still, just kind of wanted to let that sink in a little bit there. So disciplining what you want, going to the depth of that, letting go, which goes on with the sun and Mercury and the moon over by the south node, letting go of those grudges. Again, this is repeating his message a little bit more, getting rid of those old bonds, old ties, old thoughts, old habits, old ways of doing things. Done, this is going to be, recrystallize this. And the same again with Pluto going back into Capricorn, getting the last bit of structure, getting the last bit of discipline, getting the last bit of what it can before it moves on, the new way. So it's like not all structure is bad. So here Pluto is gathering the things that work, the good wood, the good part of the houses, the house, the good beams, the good plank wood, and then getting rid of all the insect rotted, parts. So that's kind of where that is before it can move on with the new Aquarian design, so to speak. Okay, so that's real big picture. That's kind of like the nutshell. And that's sort of the theme of the whole week. But then there's a few other little things. We have this eclipse coming in tomorrow. Um, you get the hours here. It's kind of cool because it's right there. Oh, I passed it. Sorry. Will it do it? Yeah, right there. Okay. That's pretty close. All right. So we have our eclipse here. We have, Mercury right there. It's, they finally separated. We have the south node. Okay, we talked about this nice stellium. New intentions, okay, on this relationship level, on all this, on this new game. I don't want to keep hammering the same nail, but this is important. Mercury is kind of like in a odd conversation, a quincunx over there to Saturn, one of those minor degrees. Let's see if it will show up here. Let me see if I can get it on. Yes. There it is. No, it did because it's passing. All right, I don't want to confuse you. We got a lot of other stuff to do. Sorry. Get rid of these. This, I mean, you can just get so much into each area. But anyway, so there's kind of like a yucky conversation. It's just that doesn't want to, maybe some conversations back to some of these issues. It's like, yeah, I don't want to have to clean that drawer out. What it reminds me of so and so. Well, get rid of it. It's like, come on, move that on. Okay. We talked about that Wednesday. That's our new moon. Um, and I did put Chiron in here. As the moon goes over that degree, it's going to make that conversation more with healing old wounds. Just saying, there's like a lot of this. Okay. Oh, what is this? The three or fourth one already? Okay, going on to, do we do? Okay, Thursday, anything? Yeah, that was like the Mercury not making a great conversation with Saturn. It's like, I don't like you. Moaning a little bit. All right, Moon is done with all that now. Moon is like, ugh, Now I get to move into um my detriment. So moon is like getting exhausted. It's like, okay, had to do all that. Now it's like in under the microscope, but at least it's getting closer to Venus. It's like, okay, at least, misery loves company. But this is, maybe dealing with some of the drama. Um, Hopefully you've dealt with some of the stuff swiftly and not let it drag out with the Scorpio moon. This could be emotional. Some of it could be deep. It could be a little bit more of an aftermath for some of you with this, especially if you have things at that, early part of Scorpio. All right, so moon is good aspect there. Um, Making the odd angles to the moon nodes and stuff. So yeah, like that. Okay, so expect of the moon, and then it's going to go meet up with Venus. So investigating deeply, getting to the root of something of what you want, what you don't want. Why don't you want that or something like that? It may be a negative kind of way to ask because of the intensity of scorpionic, investigating. It's that looking, use that super focus, that super, just they don't won't give it up. They're just, on it. Use that energy, that moon and the emotions to maybe pull something out if need be. If not, just enjoy the intensity. All right, Saturday, Mercury squaring Mars. Mercury moves over there, it's going to square Mars. So this could be yucky words. This could be arguments, anger, um, relationship issues, conflicts, words, communication, or it could also be you have to think outside of the box because of, some efforts being thwarted or something. It's like, oh, I'll just find another way. You can just be real melding, real, use that. See, this is, even though it's a square, it's a cardinal square, but it's in water. So it has some mutability in some way around it. It's not just like a fixed square, at least. So there is some spunkiness to maybe solving problems. Yeah, solving problems around the house. Getting things done. Yeah, getting stuff done, getting things cleared out, getting things, starting new projects with others around the house. That is a big theme around the community, around the neighborhood. Hmm. Oh my, for some, I don't know how true that is. Okay, Sunday. What else? Oh, I'm going to go over something else with you in a minute. Okay, so Sunday we still have that Mercury square Mars, and then now we have the Sun starting to have that quincunx with Saturn, that yucky conversation that Mercury just had, so now the Sun has to go through that. It's kind of like I have to do what I don't want to kind of thing with the Sun. So it's like communication, and then now it's like, yeah, I said I would. I got to go do it. I promised them I would. Now you got to go do it. So Mercury's mouth promised, and now the Sun you got to follow through. That's what it is. But at least the moon, in here later in the day, and then like on Monday, it will move into Sag. So it'll put you in a better mood. It'll be like a little bit more of a, it's grass is greener. I'm making an effect. Yay, rah, rah, cheerleader, woo. So that will at least help out. It'll kick in, but you gotta go the distance at first and make the change before the music comes on. You gotta pay your bill first, then the music comes on. Gotta pay for your ticket, then you get to go into the theater. Something like that. Oh dear. And then we come up to Tuesday, which is going to be a busy day. I just wanted to give you a little heads up there at first. So, Venus, we got Venus still trining Mars. Look at it's been riding along. She moved ahead, and then now, Mars isn't going to click ahead. They're still at that trining, in water, right? Water signs. And then we have Mercury um, in air, trine, at 21 degrees, trining Jupiter in air, and Jupiter is going to go retrograde the next day. It's stationary. You can see that. So this is pretty powerful. So this is coming in. So as Mercury gets closer to this, in the next several days through the whole week, we're going to be feeling this air trine and this water trine, with Venus. So, we'll have this air and water. We have Venus and Mars, that the lovers, right? The push pull, the male female kind of energy, and then we have Mercury communication and Jupiter growth and expansion. So that could be very interesting. That could be very interesting. And then we also have Mercury opposed Chiron. Put it there. We have where the right there. See, so it's right here. So we have, this is interesting. I don't do a whole lot of other asteroids, but it's in people's vernacular and consciousness. You know, we have this wounded healer in this thought bubble of people. So that is out there. So we have this communicating of this wound. Okay. And then the sun will go over that. So this is big. So I'm really hoping that we can resolve some of this turmoil that's starting up in the Middle East. We can quell these stupid October surprises. We can get past this election BS and get to really helping the people. But I'm just feeling this whole kind of thing, riding with it and trying to watch the astrology. But we're coming into stuff we've never seen before. But another time. Okay, and then Wednesday, yeah, we talked about Wednesday. Jupiter is going to go retrograde, and then this month we also have we talked about Mars trining Neptune. We said Venus will do that when she goes up to the end of that. Venus will then move into Sagittarius. Mercury will move into Scorpio, and then Pluto will soon change directions too, and go we'll go direct. What else is coming up? I've gotten distracted here. On the day of the full moon this month, on the 17th, we will have the sun and moon are opposite, right? So we know that the sun, will still be in Libra. On the 17th, it'll be 24 Libra, and then the moon will be opposite in Aries, and it will be squaring Mars. Okay, Mars will be 23 Cancer. So we're going to have a cardinal square, T-square on the 17th. So I thought I'd just give a heads up. That's like a couple weeks away, but little heads up on that T-square. That could be a little gnarly, especially as soon as the moon kind of clicks into that. So, 16th, 17th, 18th, that could just be a little good time to be aware, be extra aware, be nice. Don't get in any entanglements, any verbal battles. Wait till that is over. Just a heads up. Okay, so that is it for this week. It's kind of an exciting week. Make use of the trine, and that's it for now. All right. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.